I know that woman. She used to live with a flock of birds on Lenox Avenue. Know her husband, too. He fell for an 18-year-old girl with one of those deep-down spooky loves that made him so sad and happy he shot her just to keep the feeling going. When the woman, her name is Violet, went to the funeral to see the girl and to cut her dead face, they threw her to the floor and out of the church. She ran then, through all that snow, and when she got back to her apartment, she took the birds from their cages and set them out the windows to freeze or fly, including the parrot that said, "I love you." The snow she ran through was so windswept she left no footprints in it. So for a time, nobody knew exactly where on Lenox Avenue she lived. But like me, they knew who she was, who she had to be, because they knew that her husband, Joe Trace, was the one who shot the girl. There was never anyone to prosecute him, because nobody actually saw him do it, and the dead girl's aunt didn't want to throw money to helpless lawyers or laughing cops when she knew the expense wouldn't improve anything. Besides, she found out that the man who killed her niece cried all day, and for him and for Violet, that is as bad as jail. Regardless of the grief Violet caused, her name was brought up at the January meeting of the Salem Women's Club as someone needing assistance. But it was voted down because only prayer, not money, could help her now. Because she had a more or less able husband who needed to stop feeling sorry for himself, and because a man and his family on 134th Street had lost everything in a fire. The club mobilized itself to come to the burnt-out family's aid and left Violet to figure out on her own what the matter was and how to fix it. She is awfully skinny, Violet, 50, but still good-looking when she broke up the funeral. You'd think that being thrown out the church would be the end of it, the shame and all, but it wasn't. Violet is mean enough and good-looking enough to think that even without hips or youth, she could punish Joe by getting herself a boyfriend and letting him visit in her own house. She thought it would dry his tears up and give her some satisfaction as well. It could have worked, I suppose. But the children of suicides are hard to please and quick to believe no one loves them because they are not really here. Anyway, Joe didn't pay Violet or her friend any notice. Whether she sent the boyfriend away or whether he quit her, I can't say. He may have come to feel that Violet's gifts were poor, measured against his sympathy for the broken-hearted man in the next room. But I do know that mess didn't last 2 weeks. Violet's next plan, to fall back in love with her husband, whipped her before it got on a good footing. Washing his handkerchiefs and putting food on the table before him was the most she could manage. A poisoned silence floated through the rooms like a big fishnet that Violet alone slashed through with loud recriminations. Joe's daytime listlessness and both their worrying nights must have wore her down. So she decided to love, find out about the 18-year-old whose creamy little face she tried to cut open even though nothing would have come out but straw. Violet didn't know anything about the girl at first except her name, her age, and that she was very well thought of in the legally licensed beauty parlor. So she commenced to gather the rest of the information. Maybe she thought she could solve the mystery of love that way. Good luck, and let me know. She questioned everybody, starting with Malvon, an upstairs neighbor, the one who told her about Joe's dirt in the first place, and whose apartment he and the girl used as a love nest. From Malvon, she learned the girl's address and whose child she was.